another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 9, Episode 18.
Or Episode 208 if you're counting.
Good to see you guys here. Thank you so much to you guys who are here. We took a couple of weeks off, and now we're doing it on a Saturday rather than our usual Friday. So to those of you who are live right now, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, very much appreciated. We know it's the weekend. Everybody's got a bunch of stuff to do. It gets busy in March going into April. It's just spring.
Yeah, and especially in Southern California for sure.
Yeah, and then I also get that it's a week past us having to deal with daylight savings time.
I know.
Nobody's happy with that, you know, rather than put people through what time are they coming out last week, then it's probably better that we just waited a week and everybody knows what time it is.
And I feel like I'm hearing more and more frequently that people are saying, hey, why don't we abandon daylight savings time? I feel like I'm hearing that even on TV and the radio a whole lot.
I hear it in the office all the time, people being like, why do we even still do this?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, nobody's farming anymore, but I feel like my body's finally accommodated to being out here, so extra daylight on the coast makes sense to me.
That's true. That's true. It should.
Now, mind you, if we were back in Texas, I'd be on the boat with everybody else, like, hey, come on, let's get rid of this thing. Come on, really.
Yeah.
I want it to be dark when I wake up.
Thank you very much to Snow Golem, Kirby. Thank you for the cheer. Appreciate it very much. Could have sworn I saw another host in there, but thank you to anybody who's hosting right now. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
So what's going on otherwise, Josh?
Well, we got something to do tonight.
We do. We're going to a concert.
Yes, we're going to a Shingo 2 tribute to Nujabes concert. For those of you who are semi-familiar with that or unfamiliar, Nujabes was the main creative force behind the music for Samurai Champloo. He did all of the insert songs there. He did the opening theme there. Battle Cry Shingo 2 provides the vocals on that. Unfortunately, he passed away several years ago due to an illness. Really, the whole music area around there, he shaped so much of what hip-hop sounded like.
Yes.
And so his music just, I was talking about this earlier to you, he never put out a bad album. Like, it's all that nice hip-hop blending of all these beats and nice strings and all these other different things together to make such beautiful music. And so tonight there's going to be a tribute concert here in LA. We're definitely going to go check that out.
Yes, for sure.
As soon as those tickets went on sale. I don't believe he did Afro Samurai. I think that was somebody else. But those tickets went on sale in December. My bro hit me up, dude, I'm not there. You got to hit this up. I'm on that because I love that music. You know, rest in peace, Nujabes. So we're going to check that out later. What do we got coming up this coming week?
We got a few early screenings coming, and I'm not certain we're supposed to talk
about
them.
it.
Because
and that's the thing we keep running into.
Well, they are so early that I am pretty sure we are the test audience, and we've been the test audience a couple of times now for a couple of movies.
And we can't specify.
We can't specify what they are yet, because we sort of signed things, and if we tell what those things were, then someone will come kill us. I don't know. Seems kind of extreme. Hollywood, you're a little extreme, yeah.
But no, we did get to see, because we're not going to talk about it proper, but we do need to talk about it since we covered it on the show, Captain Marvel.
Sure, definitely.
So we got to see that. It was a little bit of a disappointment, only because one of the speakers went out in our auditorium.
I keep telling you, it's not that it was a speaker. They had a balancing issue. The sound effects were really, really quiet, yeah.
So that kind of inhibited how much we could enjoy it. That having been said, we did enjoy it.
I did, yeah. I didn't think it was the most perfect film, but it was very enjoyable. I really did enjoy it, yeah.
I think a lot of the strengths came from the latter half. The first part, it was their choice on how they wanted to tell the story, but once you actually got to the point, it was like, okay, you know what? I see you. I get it. I get why this is an important movie. And that mid-credit scene, which kind of ties into one of our stories here, definitely gets me that much more pumped for Endgame. We're almost a month out.
Almost. It's about time to do your Marvel marathon.
Yeah, if you haven't started, you better get on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do like obviously a non-stop, no sleep kind of a marathon, but I do think I'm gonna be doing a movie a day kind of a marathon, you know? So, was Goose cute? The cat in Captain Marvel? Goose pretty cute up to a point.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, like, we got love for cats around here, but Goose is a special case. Let's put it that way.
Special in a lot of ways.
A lot of that.
If you haven't been spoiled by what that is, maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe you should go in and be surprised.
Goose is very important. Like every other review has talked about, Goose is very important.
Goose is very important. And what cat isn't important?
I mean, really.
Really.
Aside from that, what do we got? We got Us coming up in a few weeks.
What is Us?
The new Jordan Peele one.
Yeah.
That one we got coming up. Captive State just came out. If we can find some time to get to that, because we got all these other showings to do. Spider-Verse comes out on Tuesday. The hard copy. Digital's been out, but I want my hard copy.
Yeah. I want to say thank you to, I doubt you're here right now, but to the hosts of Relentless Weebs, who had me on their show over on Facebook this past week, which was a very enjoyable time, run by the people who organize Anime Impulse. So, looking forward to an Anime Impulse event in the future.
Yeah, that's right, Billy. Academy Award winning Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Academy Award winning Into the Spider-Verse, which I was telling you just yesterday. I drove past the local high school, and I guess school was letting out. It was only a little after 1 p.m., but everybody was out.
Maybe somebody had a free period or something.
No, this was the whole school was like out and walking like home.
Okay.
But there's like one kid who was in like a Spider-Man onesie. It was not like tights,
like a
Zentai suit. It wasn't really. It was closer to a Kigurumi than it was a Zentai suit.
Like those ones they sell at Walmart.
Except it didn't have a hoodie.
Okay.
It was just, it looked more like pajamas, and he was wearing sneakers, and he had Spider-Man glasses, and he's running down the sidewalk going...
Thwip. He's thwipping.
Yeah, it was great. And he wasn't bothered by anybody. Nobody was bothering him. He was just going about his business going... This high school kid, nobody else is dressed up or anything.
He out there on the sidewalk like, "What's up, danger?"
It was great. Props to that kid.
Yeah, that kid is living his best life right
now. Yeah.
And you can do that too if you get yourself a Spider-Man onesie. But you should probably wait to wear it to Endgame.
Endgame would be the appropriate place to do it.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and talk about these stories that we're going to be talking about in just a second.
So we're going to talk a bit about that. We'll get to that. But the first trailer we're going to talk about today is the new Aladdin trailer. So Disney actually gave us more of a proper look at this upcoming live-action adaptation of the original 90s animated feature. We're starting to finally hear music, not just the overture there of Aladdin. We actually get to hear some of the songs. And a lot of people feel... I guess it's easy to say it's better than we did before.
A little bit better. Not perfect, but a little bit better. Secondarily, are we talking Star Wars?
We're talking Star Wars.
Because Star Wars Land got announced.
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, the opening dates for both Disneyland and Disney World got announced. They're not
the same day.
They're not on the same day. They're not in the same month, even.
Nope.
So a lot to talk about there. A lot has been revealed. Some footage, some photos. Really excited about the costumes that people are going to be wearing in the park. That's super exciting, so we're going to be talking to you about that opening.
And as if we weren't going to talk about it, of course, we got that new Endgame trailer this week. Everybody's feeling a certain way about that.
I know some of you guys out there are trying to avoid this trailer, so that is the third story. I want you to be prepared for it, because we are going to talk about it, and we are going to show it. So either stop there, or mute, or like come back to us.
Now, thankfully, they're not showing much either, and we want to go ahead and throw that out there now. We could be getting thrown off again, like we did
they
for
love
Infinity
throwing
War.
us off.
They do now.
Yeah.
They don't care that we know.
But we gotta save that discussion.
But we gotta save it.
We gotta save that discussion. Before we get into these trailers, it's very trailer heavy. It's very video heavy. Very Disney sort of oriented heavy.
It's all Disney, yeah.
It's kind of all Disney, unfortunately. But there's other stuff other than Disney we want to talk about. Josh, you've got some follow-ups.
I got a lot of follow-ups.
You do.
If we're not on for 2 weeks, you kind of back-build a lot of follow-ups.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and start with our DC news. First off, right off the bat, I wanted to mention this, get it out of the way first. Unfortunately, we have learned that after Season 8, Arrow over on the CW will be coming to an end. That will be the last season.
It's had a good run, though.
It's the thing, like, Stephen Amell and a lot of the other cast have commented on, we didn't want the show to get kind of long in the tooth, and if you ask me, it kind of did.
Yeah.
So they figured this is a good time. It's only going to be 10 episodes, which kind of times out, like we figured, with the crossover of Crisis on Infinite Earths. And this, of course, buys into the whole idea that people are very much of the opinion that Oliver Queen might bite it to sacrifice himself for the better of the universe.
That makes sense.
So we've got that to look forward to.
By the way, before we move forward, I didn't even mention.
Oh, this is worth talking about. I'll stop the show to talk about this.
It's Baja Blast time again, folks.
We are not sponsored by Mountain Dew. By no means. We just love this.
No, just Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Otherwise, you'd have to go to Taco Bell, and a lot of people don't want to have to do that. And you guys know this is like the only soda I go to.
This is your go-to soda. Now, we've only been able to find bottles. If anybody knows if there's cans out in the wild, let us know.
There are.
I haven't seen them yet.
We haven't seen them out here yet, but...
But we want the cans. Everything tastes better out of a can. That's why I only do my Arizona that way. Okay, let's go ahead and get back.
Please keep going. I'm sorry. This is
okay,
very
so
important.
Still talking about the CW. So we know more about the Batwoman pilot. So we know that's actually going to be set before the crossover last season happened. So we're going to see some of her genesis, what's going on in Gotham City, how things have been setting up for when she met Oliver and Barry, and then they'll go ahead and jump forward a little bit and get us up to present day.
Sure.
Which kind of makes sense. Over on the Gotham side of things, we've only got 3 episodes left before the end of the series. We're not going to show anything. We just want to make it known that there are several leaked pictures online of what Batman, Joker, and Catwoman look like, in addition to the ones we already saw with Penguin and Riddler. So if you're trying to avoid those are out there. The Catwoman ones just dropped a couple hours ago. So just be careful if you don't want to be spoiled for that last episode and soak in all that actual final Batman goodness. Just hold off on that. Those are out in the wild.
I still don't understand how people aren't going to know that Batman is Bruce Wayne by the end of all of this.
I don't know either.
I don't understand.
There's no possible way. So let's go ahead and move on to some of the movie news here. So we have a picture here for the cover of the upcoming animated feature Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's coming out this summer. Of course, it's going to hit digital first in May, and then on actual physical disc in July. Very much looking forward to seeing this. A trailer came out for that. We've got some new voice talent there.
We had some friends that were working on it that was really, really new.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, I like the art style. It's a different art style than what they've gone with, but it's kind of like the best of all the worlds. I like that we're using a blue Batman again.
Yeah, slightly blue tinged, not totally completely black costume. Yeah, for sure.
Because that's the Batman I grew up with, and I grew up with the Turtles. And the thing is, you put those back together, it makes you feel like a kid again.
Yeah, to an extent, and the Turtles can cross over with anybody.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, and also talking some Batman here, we also have confirmation from Matt Reeves that starting at the end of the year, it wasn't fall like we thought, but at the end of the year, more towards winter, the Batman will start filming.
Oh, interesting.
So he finally confirmed that. Looks like they're really getting ready to move forward, but we need a new Batman. And we still don't know who that is yet. There's still speculation going left and right. We haven't heard anything new, but when we do, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move over to some other stuff. Over on Suicide Squad, the end of things. So 2 things that we're hearing here. Of course, James Gunn's directing this new Suicide Squad movie. One thing out of the 2 things. One, we're hearing here it's a complete and utter reboot.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No kidding.
So we're scrapping everything that we already knew.
You know what? Thank God. Good.
So,
it's fine with me. Actually, so what happens with this Joker movie?
The Joker's not tied to that. DC's starting to embrace this thing of, you know what, we're going to tell stories with our characters, but they don't need to be connected. You know, we tried that, didn't quite work out, let's just make movies.
But this Joker is tied to the original Suicide Squad.
No.
His movie is not connected
no,
to the
it's a
original
completely
Suicide Squad?
it's not connected to anything.
Oh, okay, maybe that's okay.
Now, the weird part about that is that you've got Harley Quinn spun off from that into the Birds of Prey movie, but if you're completely scrapping that, like, it's kind of a weird retcon there.
Yeah.
But aside from that, along with that, we're going to have some recasting. So the role of Deadshot, Will Smith will not be coming back to reprise the role of Deadshot. Instead, we're going to get Pacific Rim's Idris Elba in the role of Deadshot, which for my money, I think he's a better Deadshot.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Because I've seen him in so many other movies play really good. He's playing the villain this summer in Hobbs and Shaw. Like, yes, give me Idris Elba. More Idris Elba. I think he's going to be a much better Deadshot. And I'm a Will Smith fan. You know, and granted, he wasn't the greatest as Deadshot, but he was trying.
Sure.
But I think Idris is the better way to go.
He's still just going to come off as it's Will Smith, just being Will Smith in a role. And it kind of did. Sorry, I think, and there was nothing wrong with that.
He's very good in Luther. Idris is very good in Luther.
Yeah.
And going along with that, since we're talking about James Gunn, we do need to mention something that just broke yesterday. So it seems that Marvel has reconsidered their stance on James Gunn and have reinstated him as the director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I'm pretty glad about that, and I also think that there was room both to make sure that somebody sort of feels not just the actions, the repercussions of their actions, but also gets a chance to show and learn and grow and prove that they have developed as a person, and then you go, okay, I understand. You understand things that you might have said and done in the past weren't so great. Let's try again. I think this is a great position, and I think a lot of people, most people, prefer James Gunn being on this project.
Yes, and of course, you know, we're happy to see that. They'll finally get to finish out the trilogy. He'll finish out his contract. It's all good now.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some other news that we've got here. So we got a little bit of casting rumor here. So apparently it's one of two things, but either way, these names are involved. So we hear that there's a Metal Gear Solid movie being worked on right now, and
Heard that for a while, yeah.
And Oscar Isaac has thrown his name out there, or his name has been thrown out there for the role of Solid Snake, and I think that's fine.
Sure.
Oscar Isaac can act his ass off. I would watch that Solid Snake.
I think he could do it. Yeah. Has he been in a role with some good facial hair before? Is there a picture of him with some good facial hair?
He just did this one on Netflix called Triple Frontier that loaded like 3 days ago.
Okay.
He's got some good scruff on there.
Yeah.
So
because Snake has not always had some facial hair, but he sometimes has had some facial hair.
We'll try to make some time to watch that. He's playing a military guy in that.
Okay, great. That would be a great example.
Exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to some other interesting gaming news here. This is going to be an episode of The Simpsons tomorrow night, in blending in things that are going on in our world and things that we do cover. Bart is actually going to become an esports gamer.
I mean, this sounds like pandering to me. However, they did go directly to Riot, who does League of Legends, to get input on exactly how this should function, what's going to make it look the most realistic. So he's playing a very MOBA-style, real-time strategy kind of a
Something
game.
like League of Legends.
Very similar to League of Legends.
But he's not playing League of Legends. There's actually a very specific game.
Conflict of Enemies?
Yes, that is the fake game that Riot helped them come up with. Conflict of Enemies. Like, I know we found out about this last night, but I can't make you laugh as hard as you did when I told you.
It was the dumbest... it was so dumb.
But you would watch this episode.
I might watch this episode. Every so often I hear that The Simpsons has done something that might make me laugh. It just hasn't been laugh-worthy to just continuously watch regularly, you know?
Yeah. Like, I guess it was a couple of months ago, they had Mark Maron on there doing an episode of his podcast with Krusty, and apparently they got him right.
Okay.
And they actually got him to do the voice there, so every so often they do it, but it's more of the thing of they're having to reach out to the cultural zeitgeist versus them just being funny. So, you know, you take that, the good with the bad. Talking about some other gaming stuff here, so we've also heard that there's a trailer out there for this new Doom. Apparently it's going to be direct-to-video sequel or pseudo-sequel or pseudo-relaunch. I did see some of it. Wait,
it's direct-to-video?
From what I understand.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and
no.
It doesn't look so great.
I mean, what did you expect?
It's only a 30-second trailer. They hardly show anything. I've never seen so many demons with such clean, pristine white teeth. That's just not something I think about when I think of demons.
Actually, though, isn't that kind of scarier, though? Like, too shiny, too pearly white? Isn't that kind of scary?
No, because, like, you're trying to tell me...
Have you ever seen a person with teeth way too white?
I have, but usually...
And isn't that scary?
No, it's just kind of annoying and off-putting.
I don't think about... No, I think some people have teeth so white, it's kind of unrealistic and kind of scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to some other things. Normally we don't cover tabletop gaming, but this was too big to pass up since so many other outlets have covered this. So there's the online streaming role-playing game along with Dungeons & Dragons called Critical Role, and most of you out there probably know what this is. So Critical Role decided to start a Kickstarter just a couple of days ago, maybe a week at this point, where they wanted to do a one episode, just one shot, of the characters there in Vox Machina, and they were looking to originally raise $750,000 to go ahead and do this one shot. Well, within one day, they raised over $4 million, breaking all of the records that Kickstarter had for quickest to hit their goal and then surpass it. They are currently up to over $7 million with about a month to go.
That's insane to me. That is absolutely insane. You might as well, like, I know they said they've upped it to make an entire series at this point.
Yeah, because now they have the funding.
I would make a whole movie. I would make, like, a Hollywood budget movie. Even if it's animated, I would make a Hollywood budget movie.
Because very much this is kind of the thing that nerds, that geeks have been waiting for. Like, hey, we've been playing D&D for a while, and now it's gotten to the point of, look, you can't ignore, this just made all this much money that quickly. Like, people giving at the $1,000, $2,000 level to get this thing made. Not even just for the love of the series, which, you know, admittedly we haven't watched yet, but I've got friends who keep telling me, you know, you gotta hear this thing. You will feel.
There's a lot to catch up on.
There's a lot.
It's too much.
But the thing about it is, from everything...
It's like One Piece.
Trying to catch I think it's a little easier to catch up with than One Piece at this point. Because One Piece is at what?
800 something?
800, 900 somewhere episodes? No, I think I can catch up with this a lot quicker. But this will be a thing that's coming out. If you guys still want to get in on that, there's plenty of time. You can go over to their Kickstarter and contribute if you want to check this out. Of course, you can find most of their stuff backed up over on Geek and Sundry if you want to go ahead and get into that. And if not, just go play D&D with your friends. Yeah. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Or any other number of tabletop games, many of which are very easy to get into if you pick the right ones.
Yes. So let's go ahead and move on to some other Tokusatsu news here. So one of the things we wanted to cover is, of course, we love the Boom iteration of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics. An interesting pull that they did in just this week's issue was they reintroduced the character of King Lexian. And for those of you who remember, back in Season 2, there was a tie-in, kind of a backdoor pilot, two-part episode where they introduced Saban's Masked Rider. And if you remember, Alpha was created by King Lexian and given to Zordon to help him, but King Lexian is the grandfather of Dex, the Masked Rider. So people are like, oh my god, you guys remembered Masked Rider! Whereas some people are like, oh my god, you made me remember Masked Rider. But I think it's really cool. I think if they wanted to do it, Boom has been doing such a bang-up job with telling the story of the Rangers and retelling all of this stuff in a more dramatic fashion.
It's a boom, not a bang.
Right. The Boom comics could potentially, if they wanted to do that, reintroduce the Masked Rider Warriors and maybe do them right and actually give us...
Can they get the license to use those images?
I don't know. Because at this point, because things have changed hands so many times, I don't know that Hasbro is beholden to the same restrictions that were on Saban, because Saban's the one that screwed it up.
The thing is, like, Saban did not continue to retain the rights to Kamen Rider Black RX, did they?
No.
Okay, so nobody had the rights to Kamen Rider Black RX after a certain amount of time, right?
I don't believe so, no. Unless they defaulted back to Toei.
Now, if Hasbro has purchased all sorts of stuff from Saban, they would have certain licenses, which would mean, yes, they can use Saban's original characters. So they could use the King, they could use Furbus, they could use all the rest of the stupid other kids, whatever.
And they can, well, I guess the thing would be, they could use Dex. You just can't show him as Masked Rider.
You might not be able to show him as Masked Rider. That's the problem. Maybe you could catch a silhouette. You might be able to catch a silhouette, but they would still have to talk to Toei in order to get the rights to use the imagery of Black RX.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, like, Hasbro's not Saban. They're a fully realized Fortune 500 company where they could potentially talk to him and get this thing and do it right. Because that was always the thing that Ishinomori Pro was worried about initially, was that they weren't doing justice.
Right.
Which we all know. But I don't want to stick on that too much. We still got some other stuff to cover. We do have the dates for this year's Superhero Time movies. We do have a poster that goes along with that. So these are both going to debut on July 26th. That's going to be the movie for Kamen Rider Geo and Kishiryu Sentai Ryu Soldier, which should be premiering today, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So we'll definitely talk to you guys about that, hopefully next week, about what we thought of the first episode, since the tried and true methods of watching these shows will probably carry us through and let us know how it was.
Very much.
All right, and one of the last things we'll cover so we can get into the rest of the story is, so the Kamen Rider Zangetsu stage play has already debuted. We don't know a lot of details about the plot necessarily, but what we do know is that Zangetsu gets a new form, which is actually kind of a kitbosh. So what we have here is Kamen Rider Zangetsu Kachidoki arms.
Yeah, it just looks like Kachidoki arms.
But green.
Yeah.
With gold trim. I'm actually okay with it. I kind of like it. Because I think Zangetsu was one of those suits, like, he didn't use it enough, or they didn't show him on screen nearly enough until he got Shin Zangetsu, that upgrade.
Sure.
And granted, a lot of people like the bow and arrow, but I just liked the pristine look of the white and the gold there. So I wish we'd gotten some more time with that. But there is a figure coming out of that, too. No word yet on how much that's going to be, but we'll keep an eye on that and keep you posted for when that's made available.
Exciting.
But that's all we've got for our follow-ups. Let's go ahead and get started with our first story covering Prince Ali.
Oh, please don't do that.
Okay, I'll leave the singing to the trailer.
Okay, cool.
They're over there!
Make sure I don't sorry. You've got Aladdin music blaring in your ears. Hopefully that stopped now.
Yes,
okay.
It should be good now.
All right.
So what we're seeing here is a full trailer for Disney's Aladdin. Of course, a remake of the I believe it was 92.
It was 92. Yeah.
92 original animated movie. Now we're actually getting a look at Aladdin, at Jasmine, very much at Will Smith as the genie. Yes, we do have a Power Rangers actress there. The actress who played Kimberly is playing Princess Jasmine here.
Yes.
Going into all this, it's very much just a very quick rundown of what you already know the plot of Aladdin is.
It's just Aladdin again, except the genie's probably going to be rapping during his friend like me moment,
which we've got here. We see Will coming out, and now we see him as Blue Will. Now there was a lot being made about how bad the first look at him looked.
I don't think he looks much better here, quite frankly.
Honestly, I think he does.
No, I don't really agree. Carpet looks like Carpet should. Carpet looks great.
Now, admittedly, going off of what you just said, so we see kind of we hear more of a kind of spoken word rapping way of saying, you gonna wow me out, you ain't never had a friend like me. And it's like, okay, that's Will Smith. From what I understand, he can carry a tune. Friend Like Me is in his register. So he can sing on it. He just doesn't have to sound great. And of course, it goes without saying, he's no Robin Williams. Nobody can be.
No,
but that's not what they're going for.
No, you have to kind of just let some other personality be that personality, or else it's not going to work. You can't have somebody try to mimic Robin Williams, because you already had Dan Castellaneta kind of trying to do a Robin Williams
impersonation
during both the second movie and the TV series, and to an extent you go, it's just Dan Castellaneta.
It's just Homer.
But he kind of sounded all right. Like, I kind of accepted that after a while.
Yeah, Return of Jafar, I was fine with it. I realized,
I mean, I'm not fine with the movie Return of Jafar, but...
Well, because we were just talking about this last night, too.
We really were, yeah.
When it comes down to talking to somebody like, hey, were you a 90s kid? I was a 90s kid, too. And you have to give them the test. All right, which direct-to-video Disney sequel was the best? And if they don't say Aladdin and the King of Thieves, you don't need to be friends with them.
Yeah.
Because that's just what it is.
Yeah.
King of Thieves had no business being as good as it was.
And yes, Dan Castellaneta did Genie in all the Kingdom Hearts games.
Yes.
So they had their default. So you have to realize, when you're doing another Genie, you think of the stage performances too, the Broadway show.
Which is what his more human form looks like.
And I love that.
I like it. I really do.
I love that version of his Genie. I think he looks amazing. It's when he goes blue that I think it's kind of weird looking.
Yeah, and you can kind of see here that the top of the lamp looks a little translucent, like you could see the blue gas in there. That's new. Like, I don't know that we needed that necessarily.
I mean, that doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Now, I'll tell you this right now. More so, actually, than Genie, I have a problem with Abu.
Does he look too much like a real monkey?
No, he doesn't look enough.
Monkey?
He just looks really fake.
He's somewhere between a real and a fake monkey. Yeah.
But the thing of it is, going into that, that's the right key. That sounds like Friend Like Me. That sounds like a whole new world there. That is Naomi Scott there singing it.
I feel like Whole New World sounds too close to the original. It's not its own thing. That's the problem I have with all these Disney remakes, you know, is that it's just too close to the original thing.
I think in contrast to something like, say, Beauty and the Beast, which I very much wanted to see because I love that movie so much, once we got in there, Emma Watson didn't wow me as Belle.
No.
There was auto-tune, and she just didn't bring anything vocally.
Sure.
You know, like, she was singing very emotionless when there should be a lot there. You know, there must be more to this provincial life. I didn't feel that from her. And whereas here, it sounds like, no, Jasmine is happy to see a whole new world. I'm outside the house, outside the palace.
So there are certain things that I did like here. Like, you'll see Genie pushing Aladdin or Prince Ali Ababwa kind of in the direction of Jasmine, and I thought, oh, that's kind of just a clever, cute little joke. I'm hoping that the jokiness of Genie makes it different enough.
Well, I like that little joke that they do there of there's a lot of gray area when it comes to make you a prince. Like, I can make you a prince, and then he pops another prince up. You'll see my palace. Like, that was good. That was clever, and it wasn't an original joke.
Yeah.
Like, let him have his own sense of humor.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that is the point where it's super good to have Will Smith, because he can just... I think it's appropriate for him to be Will Smith and embrace a different kind of comedy, and maybe that'll make Aladdin feel like a different movie.
Well, because the whole idea of it is you hired Robin Williams to be Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You hired Will Smith to be Will Smith.
I hope then that, I hope it makes it feel a little bit different, because otherwise Aladdin himself kind of feels the same, even though he's wearing too much of a shirt. Jasmine...
You want shirtless Aladdin.
Yeah, maybe. And then...
I'm not going to fault you for that.
And then Jasmine, despite the fact that she's wearing super ornate kind of clothes, still kind of feels too much like the exact same character there. Have we heard anything about Iago's voice?
Yes, actually. That was just confirmed earlier this week that's actually going to be Firefly alum Alan Tudyk as the voice of Iago.
They did not get back Gottfried?
No.
That is the only moment, that is the only time where I feel like I need you to recast the same person, and you dropped the ball and you didn't give us Gilbert Gottfried?
You wanted them to pull a Lion King, and this is the one voice you keep.
It's the only one! It's the only one that should be the same. It obviously should be Gilbert Gottfried. Are you kidding me?
Now, to your credit, he is pissed that he didn't get called back. Yes, he's pissed.
He's pissed. They brought him back for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Like, he's in video games. I feel like, I want to say they said during the production of the original animated film that Iago was designed specifically to be voiced by Gilbert Gottfried because he's a parrot.
Uh-huh.
He is a parrot. He's got that quality of voice already.
Yeah, I understand.
That's what it is.
And the thing about it is, like, I've heard Alan Tudyk voicing a lot of things lately, and it's like, I'm starting to be able to recognize him a lot easier now, which is bad, because that means there's not a lot of variance. Now, granted, he's done some great voice roles, but at this point, it's like, nah, are you gonna do a Gilbert Gottfried impersonation? Because that's gonna be weird.
I hope not. I hope he just does himself, because...
But no, I'm really afraid that he's gonna sound like, what was the droid that he voiced in the
super sarcastic one?
Yeah, K2SO, I think that was his name.
I don't entirely remember his
Which
numbers,
he was fine, is that, like, that's probably my favorite role of him vocally, but I don't know that I want that quality here.
Right.
So we'll have to see how that sounds, because there's been no word yet on how he's gonna play him. And at this point, it's the whole thing of, oh, the parrot's gonna talk in this. And I was like, for some reason, I just was under the impression that they were just going to forego that.
They were just going to have Iago just do his bidding, but just be a parrot.
Yes. But now if he's going to be talking, and that's actually going into the other thing about it, we still don't know jack all about Jafar. Like, we hear him talk a little bit, and it's kind of like, oh, you're kind of imitating the original voice, but... like,
they're not spending a lot of time being like, hey, there's like a bad guy in this movie. There's like an actual conflict here.
Yeah.
They're not spending a whole lot of time on the conflict.
Now, they do show for a split second there, you see Jafar in the red outfit.
Yes.
So, what I'm wondering is, if we see Will in the blue, we're gonna see Jafar in the red. We're gonna see Genie Jafar for a second.
Oh sure, and he's gonna be the red Genie Jafar. It's gonna happen.
I just wish, like, if I didn't trust them, like, I wish he looked like really, really messed up. You know, like a really ugly, demonic Jafar. Like, oh, this is me with Genie power. Because, like, I was, like, right there. Yeah, I was just the slightest bit scared of him when he turned into a genie as a kid. Just the slightest bit.
Well, because he went from Jafar to Snake to Genie.
Yeah.
So there was a progression.
Oh, there's going to be a giant snake.
Yeah, it's gonna be a giant, terrifying snake. I hope there should be.
Yes, looking more like a djinn. Yeah, that's more
a djinn. Yeah,
what I was hoping for.
We haven't seen much of the Sultan, have we?
We haven't seen the Sultan at all.
Yeah, that's important.
That's important.
That's important.
But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, as a lot of people are. I actually think the best person at all this is going to be Naomi Scott. She's going to knock it out of the park as Jasmine.
She looks good. She just kind of looks kind of identical to she doesn't. But I don't feel like she's doing anything super special. But so long as she just does it the same, I think. But
she looks like she's there doing her job.
Yeah, she's.
Whereas
doing her
everybody
job.
else, like Aladdin, I'm not even feeling anything from. Like, I'm seeing him do parkour, but as people have pointed out, it's like it's a Guy Ritchie movie. There was going to be parkour and chasing no matter what.
Well, Aladdin had chasing in
it. Exactly. Did you guys play the Genesis game? Did you play the Super Nintendo game?
It's running and jumping. That's what it is.
That whole one step ahead is his running from the palace guards. That's why I don't
understand why people are upset. Like, oh, there's parkour in it now. Did you watch the 1992 film? Because yes, there's parkour in it. Like, I mean, we might not have called it parkour at that time, or free running, or anything like that. That's what that was. That's literally what that was.
Like, it's not nearly as out of place here as it was in, like, these most recent Robin Hood and King Arthur movies when they do stuff like that, which I think Guy Ritchie did that King Arthur one that we saw. That wasn't that great. But here, I think it's going to be okay. It's more warranted here.
Aladdin was always his skill. His skill was always free running, and the entire song at the beginning is about him getting away like that. That's what that is. So.
Yeah, he's got to be able to maneuver and get around.
Don't hate, guys.
Yeah, don't hate. That's what it was. I do see a little bit of, like, Bollywood movement in there, which I'm hoping they incorporate to be a little bit more.
I totally expected it from the beginning, and I think that would be smart. I think that would be appropriate. I think it would be smart. I hope they brought in some, like, Bollywood style directors, visual dancing directors.
For choreography.
I absolutely hope they did that. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where we're at with the new one. It's coming out in May, which is, like, it's just like March, April, May. It's going to go by so fast because we're going to have something going on literally every week or every other week leading up. So we'll be there sooner than later at this point. So yeah, you've got this to look forward to. It's got my money. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go see it. I don't know if I'm going to see it opening weekend because, you know, every parent's going to take their kids to this.
Oh, sure.
Because you think about it, you know, we grew up with this movie as kids, and now people our age have kids who they've shown the movie to.
Sure.
So it's going to be one of those other things. Same thing for Lion King. Don't go opening weekend necessarily because somebody else.
Lion King's going to be the worst.
Lion King's going to be the worst, hands down.
Because everybody, I guarantee you, most people feel like Lion King was like peak of Disney's
90s Renaissance.
90s 2D Renaissance, yeah. I don't 100% agree, but I absolutely agree with that's where the hype was. I know that for a fact.
No, I've told you this before. Lion King is literally the only movie I've ever seen with my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts, my brother. My whole family went to go see Lion King. Like, that was the only time that's ever happened in my life.
You remember we were having a discussion, too, about, okay, so which film do you think was more acclaimed?
Aladdin or
Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, yeah.
And I would say, hands down, I think there was more acclaim to Beauty and the Beast, and nobody would argue that, despite the fact that my preference still is Aladdin. I feel like Aladdin is held at very high regard, but I still think it's behind the powerhouse that is Lion King and the acclaim that is Beauty and the Beast.
I feel you on that. I do.
But it doesn't mean that it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe this will be a good interpretation. Maybe it'll be just different enough for me to finally feel like, okay, this one was warranted. I'm hoping it gives me that feeling when we eventually see it.
But yeah, that's everything we've got on Aladdin right now. Let's go ahead and get into our second story because we still have to talk about other Disney things.
Oh my god.
All right, so
but I'm excited about this one.
Now, so this one we're very excited about because we're just down the road on this one.
Yeah, like a 20-minute max drive away from here.
So we've been getting updates for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is this theme park that they're adding to both Disney World and Disneyland.
Not really a theme park, just a new area,
addition to the park.
A new area to Disneyland, and then I think just the Magic Kingdom. It's an addition to the Magic Kingdom, right?
So what's going to happen here is it's going to open, like we were saying at the top of the show, in both of those parks, but at 2 completely separate times. So it's actually going to open in Florida at Disney World on August 29th, so end of summer. Weird that they're doing that, but it's actually going to open out here in Anaheim over at Disneyland on May 31st. So it comes out to California a full 2 months, no, almost 3 months, yeah. 3 months before everybody else gets it, which means everybody's gonna pile into Disneyland.
But the timing is smart, because it's before the final film.
Well, the film doesn't come out till December.
Yeah.
So either way, people are gonna be flocking to this thing, and admittedly, from everything that they've got listed here, it's gonna be amazing.
I cannot think of another thing that has ever opened at Disneyland that is nearly going to pack the park by any stretch of the imagination as much as this new area is going to.
Yeah, because, you know, you've got people who Disney bound, you've got people who just love the characters so much, you want to go in for the Marvel characters now.
You have that Disney magical experience, like this is a totally different world that you're walking into.
I'm gonna shake hands with Buzz Lightyear, I'm gonna go check out Sully, and I'm gonna, you know, high five Mickey and all this stuff. Like, you can do that. There's time for that. But Star Wars people.
I mean, you could have made an entire theme park out of just Star Wars. They didn't do that. They decided to add it to Disneyland, and as if Disneyland is not already packed enough as it is. Like, we went to Disney World, and you go during the summer, and there was nothing really new or special. There was the minecart ride, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs minecart ride that had just opened up, and people swarmed to that, and then when we rode it, I was like, well, this was kind of underwhelming.
But at the same time,
really
we went to Universal Studios, and they had just opened Harry Potter Land.
Yeah, no, they had specifically opened up Gringotts, the ride for Gringotts. They hadn't just opened the land, they just opened that particular ride.
But it's going to be like that, though.
No, it's going to be worse than that, because this is an entire land, not just one friggin' ride, because you can expect things are going to be packed for one ride. You remember we saw Gringotts, and Gringotts was, what, at least 9, if not 12 hours of a wait time? Something insane like that?
It was smaller. It was 5.5.
No, it was way more than that. It was literally the entire day's worth of
Yeah, but see, at that point, like, why would you even want to wait in line?
You would have to have whatever they call their season pass at Universal.
No, their fast pass.
No, season pass.
Oh, season pass.
You would want the season pass because you can just come back into Universal Studios whenever you want and just ride whatever the hell you want. And you've dedicated a day purely to standing in line for this particular ride. That's why I say you want a season pass, because then you don't feel like you've spent $80 bajillion just to ride a single ride and do absolutely nothing else.
Now, as you can see some of here, kind of like riding Gringotts, there is going to be a Millennium Falcon ride.
Yes.
Where you get to be on a mission on the Millennium Falcon. Like, that's like 10-year-old me's like, sign me up. I want to ride the Millennium Falcon. Like, more than... Oh, yeah. Because, you know, Star Tours does it.
Oh,
especially
I love
with
Star Tours.
I love Star Tours to death, but specifically being on the Falcon.
Yeah,
there's something that goes along with that. Like,
that and being able to have the tactile experience of touching the Falcon, too.
Yes. And they've said, you know, it's a 1:1 scale. You know, they're going to have a replica there that you can interact with. And then along with, because I bring it up, Harry Potter Land as that kind of parallel of this is a whole world built around this thing.
Sure.
The whole world is going to be built there in this section of the park. Like, you can go ahead and pick your own wand. You can build your own lightsaber.
Yes.
And it's going to be different styles. You can do Jedi, Sith, modern, Old Republic style.
Mind you, they've always had, like, when you got out of Star Tours, it put you into the gift shop, and they had the little area where you
but it's not
crystal.
But it's not it's not going to be that dinky
plastic
play school style lightsaber.
Right.
No, it's going to be like a good quality lightsaber.
Right.
And, you know, they're
like
going to...
those $100 Force Effects kind of lightsabers?
Basically. And the thing about it is they're going to have the cantina there. They're going to have an at there. You can order blue milk.
Ugh, okay, I mean, cool.
Look, come on.
I understand if it's like a milkshake and it doesn't taste blue, okay.
So long as it's not coconut, I'm on board.
So long as it doesn't taste like blue.
I don't
want milk that tastes like blue. You can have blue drink, that's fine, but I don't want it to be milk and taste like blue.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about.
What if it's just blue milk and it's just food coloring and it's just milk? Just straight up milk.
You're gonna taste the blue food coloring. You can taste. You can taste it. You know what blue tastes like.
I know what blue tastes like, but it's not as strong as purple.
Purple. It's just drinking Dimetap.
Yeah. That ride's gonna be called Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. You'll be able to earn credits, do things. They're gonna have a cantina there.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. You actually get to be at the bar and watch. You know, they're gonna have casts and characters there, like aliens walking around and people talking. You know,
I wish we had some of the pictures that I showed you earlier.
I was looking some of them up before this.
Of some of these costumes, such intricate, detailed costumes.
No, like they got Lucasfilm people to go ahead and be like, "Hey, design us up some new costumes."
Just for the cast members, mind you, everyone who works at Disney is considered a cast member. So these are just the people that are going to be serving your drinks, who are going to be working the gift shops. You know, those people you'll often see they just have kind of sort of themed shirts or pants or shorts or whatever, and then they got their name tag. These people, they got the name tag, but they also look like they've got like friggin' Imperial sort of clothes, or they're dressed like this is what this person on Tatooine dresses like. It's just amazingly intricate costumes.
And of course they're going to have limited edition gifts and merchandise, shirts you can't get anywhere else, pins, that's a big thing.
The pin trading is going to be terrifying. But I hate the pin trading culture.
But on top of that,
I hate it.
Much like you go to Disney, I want to go meet Captain America, I want to go meet Jack Sparrow. Here, you can take your picture with BB-8, you can take your picture with friggin' Chewbacca.
I mean, they've been doing that for a while, mind you, because they've always had those Star Wars days at Disney.
Yeah, but they realized how much money that was making them, and they understand the concept of, what if we could make more?
They do.
Disney understands that. They've got the giraffe money.
Disney's not going to be satisfied unless they have all of the money.
And all of the things.
All of the money and all of the things, yeah.
So this is going to be... Yeah, there's probably going to be a Phasma there.
Phasma, as soon as Episode 7 was announced, they put a Phasma
in the park.
In the park, in their parades and stuff. I don't know how accessible she was to meet and greets, but certainly
they had times, because they had her, they had Kylo Ren. I don't know that they had a Rey, necessarily. But for sure they had those two. And of course, they had the parades there. So, of course, May 31st, that's going to be here quicker. Of course, obviously, then August 29th. It all depends on what side of the world you're on. Because people are going to come...
country, too.
No, I said world.
Yeah.
People are going to come from all over the world to check out...
I'm sure people from Asia are going to come out here.
Yes.
And then people from Europe are going to come to Florida.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in New York, you're going to go to Florida.
Yeah.
If you're in, like, Seattle, you're going to come to California. And if you're in Texas, you're just going to pick and choose.
It depends on how quickly you want to see it, really.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, people who couldn't get to Celebration this year, they're going to come to this.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And I wouldn't want to be out there that opening... Like, we were joking...
I want to be there, but I don't, because you remember our experience with the minecart Snow White ride, and with seeing what the line was like at Gringotts. This is that times 10, if not times 100. It's going to be ridiculous. So, my plan is, it would be nice to go when Star Wars opens, but let's do that later. Let's have a totally separate Disney day, like a week before Star Wars opens.
No, you go the day before it opens, and nobody's in the park.
No, I say a week before, because there's going to be people who have bought multi-day passes. So you go a week before, so that you're not in competition with anybody else who's like getting to the park that day before, who's flying in or driving in or busing in. You got to do it the week before.
Okay.
It'll be much better.
So to wrap that up, so we can get into our next section. So again, that's going to be hitting Disneyland out here in Anaheim on May 31st and over in Florida at Disney World on August 29th. So if you want to go ahead and get your money together, get your crew together, plan ahead because there's going to be a lot of people in front of you in line.
Yep, because that's already happened.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our last story. For those of you who were waiting to let us give you the advance notice, we're doing it now. We're going to talk Endgame.
Avengers Endgame.
I don't personally believe there's a lot of spoiler in there, and we'll explain that in a second, but just pause for like 10 minutes or 9 minutes and just come right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're about to show this trailer in the background, so if you don't want to see it, don't be here.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit it. Okay, so Endgame. Now, to go ahead and go back to something that the Russos have said, they said all of the promotional footage that they are showing us are only from the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, not only that, but a ton of this footage is just a compilation of stuff that has happened in previous movies.
Over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the smart thing. And the thing about it is they've been very careful what they're showing. And going into all of this, we see that the thing that's coming up a lot is the question of the time jump. And of course, from a lot of people seeing what's going on here.
Sorry about the excess volume there, guys. It should be taken care of now.
We've got a lot of questions here about where exactly this is all going to take place, because we need to have the characters feel the effects of the snap. Of the desolation, because we are seeing the biggest evidence for that being not Scarlet Witch, being Natasha. You see, she had her hair platinum blonde in Infinity War, but over the course of the trailer, it's growing out. It's gotten much longer. It's going back to its natural red. So time is passing, and the question is, like, just how much time or prep do they need to go ahead and go after Thanos?
Yeah.
Now, we're wondering here, we still don't know exactly how they're going to solve the problem, but one thing we do see at the end is now the inclusion of Captain Marvel. As if you didn't know from going to see Captain Marvel, she's here in the trailer. She was going to team up with the Avengers.
I mean, and we knew that before Captain Marvel came out, because why would the previous Avengers film tease Captain Marvel otherwise?
Exactly.
Like, we knew.
Now, the thing that people are seeing is it's going to get real extreme real fast, because we see everybody there committing to whatever it takes to defeat Thanos, and you look at them, just the grit on Cap's face, you know, strapping into that shield, like he is...
Some nerd's gonna be crying.
No, like...
Nerd's gonna be
Catch me crying in the theater when this comes out, because I'm not gonna... I don't know that I'm emotionally ready at this point, because I have put in 10 years of a third of my life into this movie, into this franchise, and it's like, I'm not ready to go. And the thing of it is, they've been very smart about hiding who's coming back and whatnot. We already know about Spider-Man. Don't at us about that. We knew about Spider-Man. Don't be dumb. But when it comes to this coming April, like, this is it. And we know they haven't been filming anything new after Spider-Man. So it's going to be what we get this year, and then we're going to have to hold out until they tell us what Phase 4 is.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad they're not telling us what Phase 4 is, because that would spoil... I imagine that would spoil more. Because the direction they go after this tells us what decisions they made before this, at least to a point.
Like, the only thing we semi-know is
Guardians... about Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, because we know we got James Gunn back, and they're getting ready to gear up for that again. Once he's done with Suicide Squad, they're letting him do that, and then he'll come back and do this.
Right.
We're already getting Far From Home, but after Far From Home, they haven't started anything. They haven't told us anything. They've been telling us about Black Widow. They've been telling us about Shang-Chi, that we just got a director for that. But aside from that, like, what's going to be the thing that brings them all together? And people are theorizing, well, it all depends on what happens here, because it depends on who you leave in.
Right.
Who's going to survive this movie. Because, again, the big thing here is that a lot of people's contracts are up, and some actors want to go on and do other things, which I fully support them for. You've given 10 years to these, some a little more, some a little less, but I don't know. It's hard.
So talk to me about, for example, you see near the end of this trailer, all these people are wearing a lot of white.
Yes. So these are being called, from what we're hearing here, the advanced tech suits. Now, most people are theorizing that this ties into Scott Lang having showed up there, that there's going to be some sort of time travel and the Avengers having to go into the quantum realm.
We've kind of theorized something similar too, right?
Yes. So the idea is, and this is just a prevalent theory that's out there on the internet. You can look at it. We're not the first people to say it. Is that they're going to use the quantum realm, based off other clues we've gotten in other movies, primarily in the Ant-Man movies, that they're going to use the quantum realm to time travel, to go back into the past and get the Infinity Stones before Thanos gets them, and essentially they'll, like, Back to the Future disappear off his gauntlet one by one, or maybe they can time it out to all do it at once, and then hopefully either make sure that the snap never happens, or do their own snap to undo everything.
So my theory, lots of theories that could fly here. Yeah.
See, here's the one thing, and I'm actually going to be messed up in saying this out loud. On this is a theory. We don't know one way or the other. You know what would be the really messed up thing? So you saw how when Thanos made the snap, the gauntlet, like, crunched up, right? Like, it's messed up. You can't use it right anymore.
Right.
And it, like, used all the energy. What happens if it's one of those things where, because it's 6 Infinity Stones, and we had 6 original Avengers. What happens if all 6 have to, like, hold hands and team up to use the snap, and that sacrifices all 6 of them?
That's kind of messed up.
That's pretty messed up.
I don't think it's going to go that far. I don't. I just kind of don't.
Now, you know, we've been reading theories left and right, and anybody could be right at this point. Some people have theorized to set up this next phase, which potentially they're not talking to us about because of the Fox merger and them getting back Fantastic Four, fully getting back Spider-Man, all these other characters.
God, how nuts would that be?
The X-Men. One person theorized that the reason Thanos snapped to get rid of things and not add more resources was specifically because he didn't want all the planets in the universe to look more luscious to Galactus. And that the tease would be...
That's what some people are talking about here, too. A possibility that maybe in the future we're going to finally see some appropriate handling of Galactus.
Honestly, if that was the tease here, like, we're done with 10 years, and then you tell us, you just show a quick shot of Thanos of, you don't understand, you've completely messed everything up. He's coming. And you see Thanos freaked out, and then we just get, like, a snippet of Galactus, like, just the silhouette of his helmet.
A guy in a chair.
Another guy in a chair.
Another guy in a chair.
Like, the guy in the chair is scared of this other guy in the chair.
Yeah.
That would be some stuff right there. Or if they introduce mutants somehow, they've got to do something big to keep us around.
Well, yeah, because my concern is that once this is over, a lot of people are like, well, checked out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe because this was it. There's nothing left. But there's got to be something left. There's so much more that they can still do after this.
Yes. And now that we've got all the pieces on the board, the biggest thing is, they said, you know, several characters have said there's a scene where there's literally 40 some odd characters on screen at the same time, and they said there's going to be some surprise cameos, just like we had with Red Skull showing up in this last one. That whatever the last battle is has to be the most mind-blowing, amazing thing I have ever seen in my life. Because you have to understand, I think I'm not just speaking for myself here. For the last 10 years, I have built, or even before that, even since I was a kid reading Marvel Comics, I have built up this fight in my head. So if you don't deliver on that, you know what we want. I want to see War Machine go raw and blast everybody out of the sky. I want to see Mega Cannon out of... Iron Man. I want to hear Unibeam. I want to hear Avengers assemble. I want to see team-ups just the way I felt when I saw the first Avengers movie and you saw Tony bouncing his beam off Cap's shield. Stuff like that.
Remember how messy some of those Jedi fights were in the original trilogy? It was just kind of a visual mess, and to an extent I sort of felt that way in the previous Avengers film. Like, there was too much happening on
Specifically
screen.
Age of Ultron, that was a problem.
In Age of Ultron, that was definitely a problem, for sure.
But not nearly so much in the first one, not in this last one, with Infinity War, because I felt like I got a pretty...
I felt like it was really messy in Infinity War. I felt like there was too much happening on screen all at once, and it was pulling, like, in episode 1, episode 3... No, more like episode 2.
No, episode 2 on Geonosis.
Yeah, Geonosis was especially bad. Like, once they get to Wakanda and everything there's just so much stuff happening.
You want to hear Maximum? I want to hear Maximum Spider too.
Maximum Spider.
Because he would say it, because he's out there like, magic with a kick. Maximum Spider. Like, if he said Maximum Spider, I would lose my stuff. Like, I would just be a little kid there, like, ah!
Stars and Stripes!
Oh my god! God, like, just yell out all the Marvel vs. Capcom references.
Yeah, yeah.
Hear one more Hulk smash, you know? But that's the thing, like, we're just a little bit over we're like 6 weeks out at this point. That's really exciting, but it's also kind of scary, you know? Because it's like, no other movie up to this point, unless you really suck, has kept such a tight lid on what this is gonna be.
Right, right.
And the thing about it is, like, they're doing it for us. Like, hey, we don't want to spoil you guys. We're not gonna show you any third act stuff. We're not gonna show you any second act stuff. We are barely showing you act 1. Because we got something for you. And it's like, alright, you've had 10 years to build my trust. You have it. Please don't let me down.
Yeah, don't be like that Marvel Square Enix game that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
That now they're saying is gonna be pushed to the next gen.
You want to hear Hypercharging Star? I would want to hear Hypercharging Star too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it is. As soon as those tickets go on sale, we will tweet that out. We'll make sure everybody knows.
For sure.
Everybody should probably know by that point, because with 6 weeks to go, it's only a matter of time. I imagine it's days before they launch those tickets.
Yeah, pre-orders are coming. They're coming, guys.
Because normally, the way they've done it traditionally is it's been on a Monday. So I would say at least within the next 2 weeks, we're going to get that dropped.
Most likely, yes.
And good luck to you out there, because it's you versus me to get that ticket. If we have the option, I want IMAX for this one specifically.
Okay, I understand. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I know anybody who is not listening right now.
I don't think we were incredibly spoilery.
I don't, as I'm trying to say, I don't think anybody who had us like paused for right now necessarily can hear me say, hey, we're not showing the trailer anymore, but we're not showing the trailer anymore, so somebody let the rest of the chat know. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with us, guys, and I know that it's been a little bit since we've been on the air. I'm very glad to be back with you guys today. It's so much fun, so glad to be talking to all of you. I hope that you'll also stick around for the next half an hour. If you're here live with us right now, please hang out here in the chat while we go into our Q&A time.
With all these lovely people.
All these lovely people. If you are not here with us live right now and you're watching on YouTube later, thank you so much for watching. But if you come out here to the show, it's usually on Friday nights at about 7:30.
Or on Saturdays, depending on our schedule.
Yeah. Please do come and join us. Make sure that you're following here on Twitch so that you can get the notification, because otherwise, this Q&A segment, you don't get to see it. Yeah.
And, of course, during the week, you can always talk to us over on social media. On Twitter, I'm at JoshKnight1st.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
And that having been said, that's been this week's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys again next episode.
Thanks, everybody.